The Outer Banks Netflix show originally released its first season in April of 2020 and had a huge success, partly because everyone needed a new show to binge watch during the pandemic, and also in part to casting a group of beautiful people. I love you, JJ. Just look at him. He's so handsome. The show paints a picture of an island divided by two socioeconomic classes filled with beach shacks and manor homes. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore the show and will ship John B. and Sarah Cameron for an eternity, but some of the depictions in the show are only accurate to an extent. I'm Tyler from Kitty Hawk Kites, and these are 10 differences between the Outer Banks the place and Outer Banks the show. Number 1. It's not even filmed in North Carolina. The Netflix show mostly filmed in South Carolina, specifically Charleston, which is why if you ever find yourself vacationing down there, it may feel Outer Banksy. This is because the show decided not to film in North Carolina due to some political issues going on at the start of the original filming, and ever since the show has stayed in South Carolina for most of its filming. Number 2. It's not one island. It's a few. 2 tribes, 1 island. Right? Not exactly, John B. The Outer Banks consists of a few main islands and a peninsula that are broken down into the Northern Beaches Peninsula spanning from Nags Head to Corolla, Hatteras Island and its 7 villages, Ocracoke Island, and Roanoke Island, where Manio is located. The show paints it as one island, and most people live within walking distance in the same area, which cannot be farther from the truth. The Outer Banks Islands stretch for more than 175 miles. To get from one end to the other in the summer would take around 6 hours, considering the 2 ferry rides you have to take along the way. Number 3. There aren't 2 tribes either. The 2 tribes in the show are the Kooks and the Pogues. The Kooks are the upper-class manor homeowners, while the Pogues live in a shack of a house and go out and surf after work every day. This divide does not exist as prevalently in the actual Outer Banks. I mean, yeah, you have your different types of people throughout the Outer Banks. The surfer dudes exist, the beach shacks exist, and so do people retiring down here, but it's not an ongoing rivalry. Number 4. Kildare County doesn't exist. The show takes place in a fictional county called Kildare. Kildare is not a county in the Outer Banks, but Dare County is, and the name Kildare comes from combining Dare County, named after Virginia Dare, the first child born in the Americas to English parents, with Kill Devil Hills, a prominent area of the Outer Banks and the home of the Wright Brothers Memorial. Number 5. Redfield Lighthouse doesn't exist either. Lighthouses have been a staple of coastal areas for many years. The lighthouse in Season 1, Redfield, is not a lighthouse that exists in the Outer Banks. The lighthouse was filmed at Hunting Island in South Carolina. The lighthouses in the true Outer Banks are the Currituck, Body, Cape Hatteras, and Ocracoke lighthouses. We actually did a tour of the lighthouses of the Outer Banks on our YouTube channel, which you can find linked below in the description. Number 6. There is no ferry to Chapel Hill. Oh, Hollywood magic. Perhaps one of the most talked about geographical issues from the show is the ferry to Chapel Hill meme. In Season 1, Episode 4, John B. and Sarah Cameron hop on a ferry and suddenly end up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina later that evening. Jonas Pate, the creator of the show, says that in the original script it was supposed to be inferred that the two took a ferry to get off the island and then took a ride-sharing service to get to Chapel Hill from there. That ride had to be expensive considering that Chapel Hill is 226 miles away from the Outer Banks, and it was at least a 3-hour car ride to get there. Maybe they were hoping to pay off that credit card statement after they got a taste of that sweet, sweet gold money. Number 7. The non-existent yacht lifestyle. You may have seen Ward on a yacht in the Outer Banks, but yacht culture in the Outer Banks doesn't really exist here. If you find someone on a large boat out in the ocean, it's probably because they're going deep sea fishing. Number 8. There isn't a treasure hunting scene. The actual Outer Banks does not have a treasure hunting scene, but there is a large shipwreck scene. The graveyard of the Atlantic is real, and is believed to have over 5,000 ships wrecked off the Outer Banks coast of North Carolina. There are some treasure rumors though, as some people say that Blackbeard buried his treasure on Ocracoke Island in the Outer Banks. Number 9. Bridges. The first season of Outer Banks has John B. driving across a short, narrow, close-to-the-water bridge, and no bridge fitting those characteristics actually exists in the Outer Banks. The bridges here are actually decently long, and they vary in narrowness and height above the water. This is a small detail, but I just thought I'd point it out for the bridge lovers out there. Number 10. The houses. Manor-style homes like the ones seen in the show do not really exist in the Outer Banks. All the nice, more expensive houses in the Outer Banks just look like nice beach homes. The beach shack of a house does exist throughout the island, depending on where you are, but the manor-style homes you see in the show exist in Charleston, South Carolina. And those are 10 differences between Outer Banks the place and Outer Banks the show. If you ever find yourself here in the OBX, be sure to visit one of our Kitty Hawk Kites, Kitty Hawk Surf Co., or Life is Good stores. I've been Tyler from Kitty Hawk Kites, and I will see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.